Today, Thursday of the fourth week of Lent, we come to the church Santi Salvestro e Martino. With our mind's eye, we imagine the pillar of smoke billowing out of a roaring fire, into which scrolls are being thrown, while the Pope and clergy of the city look on, their faces illuminated by the blaze. This was the scene at this location in 326, when the works of Arius and other theologians condemned at Nicaea were burned, a public sign of their rejection by the Church. Tradition holds that the first place of Christian worship on the site was in the house of a priest named Aquitus, after whom the titulus would later be called upon its foundation by Saint Sylvester in the early 4th century. This was the location for both the preparatory meeting of the Roman clergy, in which they prepared their statement of faith for Nicaea, as well as the subsequent reception of the decrees of the council and carrying out of the destruction of the works of those there condemned. Tradition passes down that a basilica in honor of Saint Martin of Tours was built nearby in the late 5th century. Later, some older buildings nearby were converted into a church named after Saint Sylvester. Saint Sylvester I became Pope in 314, just after the legalization of Christianity. He oversaw the beginning of the construction of the Lateran Basilica and the other early churches built after the Edict of Milan. Along with this, he helped in the development of the liturgy in the city, including the preparation of the Martyrology. He also supported the Orthodox belief in the Arian crisis. Both of these early churches were replaced by the current basilica under Pope Sergius II. Although it's dedicated to Saints Sylvester and Martin, combining the two titles of the earlier basilicas, it is now more commonly known as St. Martin's on the Mount. At this time, the relics of many martyrs were translated here, being placed in the Confessio beneath the high altar. This basilica, first restored in the mid-16th century, was more extensively renovated a century later. Some points of interest include, as was mentioned, the Confessio, used through the centuries as a holding place for the relics of martyrs. Also is the Eucharistic Chapel. The altarpiece depicts Our Lady of Carmel helping those in purgatory, and the altar itself houses some significant relics. There can also be found a fresco of the previous St. Peter Basilica, as well as St. John Lateran Basilica.